Welcome to Safety Chats. Host Jason Stark, Director of Safety at Baldwin Safety and Compliance, shares decades of aviation experience and a passion for safety. Let's get started with this week's Safety Chat.
Hey all, welcome to the Baldwin Safety Chat podcast. Yep, that's what we call it. That's its name. It tells what we do here. We love to talk about all things safety management. Kind of a special podcast today. We are going to start kind of highlighting team members here at Baldwin. And the reason for that, for our clients, so you get to know who you're working with, but also for our non-clients, so you can see if you have questions about anything related to safety management, you know what? We're still very happy to pick up the phone and help you out. So I am thrilled for our first guest for doing this. It is Brianna Lynch, wonderful team member here at Baldwin, and just really thrilled you're here.
Hello, thank you for having me today. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative you're here. And you are like the Swiss Army knife here, right? I guess the best way, jack of all trades. You do a little bit of everything, really work a lot with our clients. Can you kind of briefly say what you do here?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a senior safety analyst here at Baldwin. I've just do a lot of different work with our clients from when they come on board, of course, as they continue on within the program and forms and all kinds of great stuff. And then also I do manage a lot of different projects such as ASAP and FOQA, the ER alert, learning more and more every day. I really enjoy all the work that we do here at Baldwin and everything that I've gotten to, be a part of so far.
Yeah. And I know you're really instrumental in guiding our clients in building the best data collection tool, I guess the way to call it, or the form, so that it supports their workflow. Is that a safe statement?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really customizable to meet their needs. Some things work for the workflow. Sometimes we need to adjust, kind of here to help facilitate that, get them in the direction that they need to go.
Yeah, that is awesome. And despite all these wonderful things you do, and a lot of good things for our clients, you bring a really special ingredient to the team. And that's kind of what I want to hit on. Very special knowledge, if you will. Your educational background, you have a master's in sustainability. Is that about right?
Yeah, so it's a master's in aviation and aerospace sustainability, and then also in sustainable management is kind of an emphasis there. So yeah, it's related to the industry, kind of a rare background, but I enjoy it.
It is. And I have to chuckle a little bit, especially with the pushes today that have the tag of sustainability. I imagine somebody hugging a tree. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people have that too, but sustainability is a huge part of safety. As I'm learning. Could you give us a brief overview what sustainability really means?
Yeah, so there's so much more than, people think, yes, hugging a tree. So it's much more than that. A lot of people think, oh, green this, green that, recycling and things, but there's so much more to it. There's 3 different pillars with it: sustainability, environmental, social, economic side, but it's basically creating something, interacting with the planet and natural resources and different things like that, and making sure that it's good for future generations. That's kind of the environmental side. And I'm sure we'll probably get into more of that, but basically creating something, being able to sustain that, get to that point of sustainability, which it takes a very long time, but there's been so many initiatives that have been pushed towards it, whether it be in any of those pillars or just in general in your everyday life.
That is a great overview, as I've learned and through you and through some reading and preparing this. So those 3 pillars have been referred to as the triple bottom line for an organization over environmental, social, and economical. And what we've seen in headlines today, and kind of like what we joked about at the beginning of the pod, these headlines have the tag sustainability, but whether it be alternative fuels, whether it be about greenhouse gas emission, carbon footprints, carbon trading, emissions trading, that's what we normally see. But I think, as you alluded to, while sustainability in terms of environment has really captured the headlines, that really isn't the whole picture, is it? Especially when it comes into what we do. So it's that social aspect, that social pillar that really impacts and how we treat people and give them an environment to work on. I don't know. Could you talk about that a little more?
Yeah, definitely. So especially when it comes to the business side, with the social, it's kind of being proactive instead of reactive, managing, identifying, just different impacts that the business has, employees, any stakeholders, customers, and the local community also. So it's more so looking at your affected the business, again, getting into the safety side, the impact it has on employees, their health and welfare. And I could go on and on and on, but keeping it in a nutshell, it's just for that social side, focusing on the impact on employees, workers, all that kind of great stuff.
But yeah, that is fascinating. I see organizations really vie to get that I'm a sustainable organization stamp on their organization. I practice sustainability. Okay, so what, you're putting turbines on the roof or whatever it is, but it's those other parts too. Economical, obviously, being accountable to the shareholders if there are shareholders, but that social aspect. And when organizations really want to round out sustainability, like you said, it's taking care of their people, not only the neighborhood, but taking care of their people. So I guess when I ask you, do you feel that having a safety management system, practicing safety management, how do you feel that fits into, especially the social pillar of sustainability?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every worker should have a safe work environment, be able to feel comfortable going to work, reporting things, tying that into safety. The safety management system is very broad. It does tie together. And many folks probably say, oh, that's completely different, but it's really not. Taking care of your people, you got to give them a safe workplace. You got to have them be able to meet those standards, the regulations and standards that are out there. But then also, this is a huge part of it as well, making sure that that's recognized, just the relationships in general. And it's huge. And I think at Baldwin, we do a lot of that, with our clients, with our employees, with helping them create that social side or pillar of sustainability. I can go on and on, but, I don't want to go in circles.
And I love to see that passion about it. And talking to you and learning more about it, I get jazzed up too, especially when we want a sustainable organization, because being a sustainable organization means that you're not only here being socially responsible, but being here in the future. It's just fascinating how safety plays such a big aspect on it. So I'm going to put you on the spot twice in this podcast. Okay.
Great.
Right. Okay. Spot number one. When we talk about sustainability efforts, we might have an organization saying, okay, well, yeah, the social aspect of sustainability, I follow all the OSHA regulations, or I follow all the regulations related to safety. What would you say to that organization, especially in the context of safety management? Is that good enough?
I think it's a good starting point. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, it's a start. Absolutely. I think a big part of it, which we also address here, is the safety culture, that interest from the employees. Yeah, you can follow the standards and do things of that nature all day long, but you're following the standards. Are your people happy? Are your people safe? But you can always do more. I feel like there's always more that can be done. There's always room for improvement in a good way, in a positive way. Always room for improvement, no matter where you're at.
Yeah. In fact, the notion of continuous improvement is a big part of safety management. Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. Regulations are a good place to start with. I consider them kind of like the minimum that you can do. But I think as you fleshed out with safety management, we can learn more and do more for our people. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, like you said, with the continuous improvement, thinking outside of the box, thinking of different things that can be done, because there's always different trends and different things coming about, hazards, risks, all that kind of great stuff, from the safety side. So again, it all ties in together.
Very awesome. So I want to ask you, do you have any other thoughts on safety and sustainability that you think our listeners should consider?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a really good practice to kind of incorporate. There are many organizations out there that are already doing different practices, whether it be simple thing as recycling and composting, or focusing on, the noise in the area. I think it's good to research. I know you say you've learned a lot by just in researching. It's a really interesting topic. I mean, there are different areas out there that you can go to and take a look at what others are doing. If you can adapt that into your own, at least as a starting point. It's a huge topic. There's so many things, an organization can do, but I think it's really important, especially for the future generation, years within a company. I think it's a really important topic to at least address and start taking at least small initiatives in that direction.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. So spot number two,
sure.
I understand from a little birdie that you are a space enthusiast. You love all things space. We're seeing, obviously, the commercial space segment is starting to spin up. You talk a little bit about your affection for space, but what are your thoughts also about how sustainability and maybe those three components fit into the burgeoning commercial space world?
Yeah, so, there is people kind of doing it for leisure. Not sure I would prefer to do that, but to each their own. There's so many different things, especially with sustainability. Our natural resources are depleting, so we're going to have to get them from elsewhere. It takes a very, very long time for them to get reestablished, hundreds of years, to kind of replace those natural resources. So we can travel to these other planets or different locations to be able to get those resources. It's not only that, of course, telecommunications, security, and it does bring together also kind of that social pillar. I'm sure you're familiar, but there's folks that go up there for so long, the actual space station or, small trips. I mean, they're from all over the world. It's such a good place for collaboration and relationships among other countries and others throughout the entire world. So I very much enjoy it. I love, reading about it. Scott Kelly is one of my favorites. Actually just bought his new book. It came out yesterday and he talks about all that kind of stuff. And it's just absolutely fascinating. Sustainability is going to be a huge part of that as well, being able to sustain space travel. But then also, again, getting back to safety, there's not too many regulations or standards for that safety aspect of it. For it to be a daily occurrence, it's going to be a while for that. But very fascinating, yes.
Wow, that is. Yeah, I can see your passion for space and sustainability. And I just imagine you being a big part of that in the future when it comes to all those three pillars, maintaining them in the space travel. Maybe we'll be there sooner than we thought. Last thing I want to mention, I understand your husband, Ian, he is serving in the armed forces and helping to sustain world peace right now, deployed across the world, and we want to thank him for his service. But Brianna, thank you so much for being here. Really, truly a pleasure talking to you. I love the information you shared. I think it'll be very helpful also for our listeners so they can really understand sustainability and how safety is a big part of sustainability. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. And I hope I at least covered a little bit, give a little bit of insight into it. I think there's great things coming in the future for it. So I'm very excited.
I can hear that. And I do too. Thank you again. And everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, it's been a great interview. I look forward to introducing you to other members of our stellar team. Again, anything you want to hear, anything you want to talk about, any questions you have, please just drop me a line. And thank you so much for listening. Stay safe.
This podcast is brought to you by Baldwin Safety and Compliance, the leader in safety management for the transportation industry. Since 2004, Baldwin has been providing state-of-the-art solutions and 24/7 support to the aviation and transportation industries. Baldwin's clients include all sizes and types of transportation operators. Baldwin provides safety and related business services to commercial and non-commercial transportation operators, medical transporters, FBOs, MROs, airports, flight schools, UAS operators, firefighters, OEMs, ground transport operators, and others. Visit baldwinsms.com to discover how Baldwin can enhance your organization's safety program.